Hi, I am Angelica R. Serrano. I am a student of 1IEA of Pamantasan ng Kabuyaw. So, I will discuss to you about the evolution of operating system. But first, what is operating system? Operating system is a program that acts as an intermediary between the user of a computer and the computer hardware. So, yung user, it can be us, machine, or another computer. And yung computer hardware naman is yung computer system. Computer system has many resources such as the input and output devices, CPU, file system, and etc. So, siya yung nagko-control ng lahat ng resources at nagbibigay ng task sa mga ito. So, next one is yung OS, is a resource allocator. Ito yung nag-manage lahat ng resources, and OS is a control program. Ibig sabihin siya yung nagko-control, siya yung nagko-control to execute lang mga programs to prevent errors. So, purposes naman niya is executing and solving user problems easier, and yung make the computer system convenient to use. Siya yung nagbibigay ng sense para maging useful yung isang device. So, use the computer hardware in an efficient manner. So, example of operating system is the Mac OS, yung Linux, Microsoft Windows, iOS, or yung iPhone, Android, and etc. So, now let's proceed to the evolution of operating system. So, dito makikita nyo yung evolution from phase 1 to phase 8. So, phase 1 is the serial processing. It was developed in 1940s to 1950s. So, yung unang nagawang computer ay walang ginamit na kahit anong operating system. Ginagawa lahat ng program in machine language. So, what do you mean by the machine language? Ito yung mga binary digits, yung mga ones and zeros. So, ginagawa yon in machine language by wiring up of blackboards. So, ito yung machine language and blackboard. So, phase 1 ay yung purpose niya naman is yung to solve simple math calculations. So, hindi na talaga kailangan ng kahit anong operating system. And the problem is the scheduling and the setup time. Kasi it takes so much time to program. And the next program should wait for the completion of the previous one. So, example is the ENIAC, the Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. Then it was completed in 1945 and designed by Eckert and Marchley. And ito yung first digital computer. And ang purpose niya naman is to calculate the artillery firing tables for the United States Army's Ballistic Research Laboratory. So, phase 2 naman tayo is batch system, developed on 1950s. So, yung unang-unang operating system na nagawa dito is tinatawag nilang monitors. It executed on monitors by using job control language. So, dito naman, kokolektahin mo lahat ng system, lahat ng programs or data ng users bago sila mag-start mag-process. So, ibig sabihin nito ay yung users do not interact directly to the computer. Ibig sabihin nito, bawat user ay ipe-prepare nila yung data nila on an offline device tulad ng punch card. Then, dun pa lang isasubmit sa operator. So, computer located in 3 different rooms. One for the card reader, second one is the executing the program, and the third one is for the printing the results. So, para mapabilis yung executing ng program, gumamit sila ng batch processing. Dito, pagsasama-samahin mo ng magkakaparehas na punch card bago nila i-execute. So, ito yung punch card in punch card machine. So, purpose niya, improving the utilization and application of computers. And problem is the lack of interaction between the user and the job. CPU is idle kasi magbagal ang mag-input at mag-output o yung process. So, at last one is the difficult to provide the desired priority. Phase 3 is the multi-program system developed in the mid-1960s and also known as multi-programming or multitasking. Dito naman ay pwedeng mag-execute ng multiple programs but using only one processor machine. So, purpose niya is to increase utilization of CPU, to manage entire resources of the system, to execute multi-programming system at once, and to have a faster response. Para maging mas mabilis yung response kasi yung process sa naunang phase ay mabagal. So they want to upgrade the system of the CPU. So the problem is the CPU scheduling is needed. Memory management is required because all types of the jobs are stored in the main memory and is highly complex and sophisticated. Example naman ng multiprogramming is the Windows OS at saka Unix OS. So ganito nangyayari yung multi-program system. So next one is the phase 4, the time sharing system. It is logical extension of multiprogramming. So it allows many users to share the computer resources at the same time. So paano naging logical extension yun ng multiprogramming? Kasi parehas silang nag-execute ng multiprograms at the same time. Ang pagkakaiba lang is yung multiprogramming is by gumagamit lang sila ng only processor using only one processor, while the time sharing is 2 or more can use the processor and users can interact with each program habang nagpo-process o habang umaandar yung program. Then this system uses CPU scheduling and multiprogramming to provide each with a small portion of a shared computer at once. So, sa system na to, mas mabilis mag-execute kaysa sa mga naunang system. The short period of time na tinatawag nila is time slice or time slot or the quantum. So, purpose niya to improve response time, to reduce CPU idle, to prevent duplication of software, to get an equal opportunity for each task. Ang problem is the data communication problem, question of security, integrity of user programs, and reliability problem. So, dito, yung active state, dito na kinokontrol ng CPU yung program. Yung ready state naman, dito nag-ready yung nasusunod na ipoprogram. And waiting state naman dito, ito yung mga program na nag-aantay na ma-execute. So, dito sa picture, sa cycle na to, ang user 5 yung nasa active state, isang program lang dapat ang nandito sa state na to, ganun din sa ready state. And user 1, 2, 3, 4, ito yung mga nasa waiting state. So, phase 4, ay yung example naman is the Unix, Multics, Windows 2000 Server, and the Windows NT Server. And phase 5, the teleprocessing system, also known as the remote control computing. So, teleprocessing system can provide a variety of services to many simultaneous users at many different locations without the necessity of having a computer and or unique data at each such location. So, how did it happen that it can still provide services to many users at the same time but different location? So, nangyayari yon through the wiring that was built in a building. So, kasi in this generation, telephone was already exist. So, yung telephone line at modem yung ginagamit to transmit the information or yung data. So, dito sa picture, ito yung modem. And dito, ito yung modem. At yung modem, it has two process which are the modulations and demodulation. Yung modulation, siya yung nagsisilbing sender. Yung demodulation naman, siya yung nagsisilbing receiver. So, purpose niya to develop more sophisticated communication protocols. And the problem is prone to errors. Ito yung teleprocessing system. Ganito siya nangyayari. Yan, the example nito is the CICS o yung Customer Information Control System. So next, the Phase 6 personal system, developed in the late 1970s. Ito yung mga desktop computers or laptops. These devices may be connected but they don't have to be in order to run. Dito sa phase na to, it only needs single user or only one user. So, purpose niya to provide a good interface to a single user to reduce the cost. And the problem niya, it has no protection mechanism. So, yung purpose niya is para magkaroon ng interaction between the user and the system. So, ganito nangyayari yung personal system. So, the next one is the example, yung Mac OS, Windows, and Linux ulit. So, next is the Phase 7 network system. So, it includes a special function for connecting computers and devices into local area network, and it is an operating system that manage network resources. So, dito, ito yung operating na nagmamanage ng lahat ng data, information, and hardware devices that can be accessed of group of computers through the use of shared connection. Yung sinasabi dito na shared connection is pwedeng Wi-Fi, yung, o kaya yung internet, yung mga ganon. So, yeah. And the next one is the purpose to allow shared file and printer access among multiple computers in a network, typically a local area network, a private network, or to another networks, and to have upgradation of new technologies and hardware. The problem here is the high cost of buying and running a server, and regular maintenance and updates are required. So, kailangan siyang i-update, kunyari monthly, ganon. So, ito yung network system. Ganito yung itsura niya kung paano nangyayari. And example niya is the Microsoft Windows Server 2003, 2008, 2012, Unix, Linux, Mac OS, Novel NetWare, and the BSD. So, next is the last is the Phase 8, the mobile system. So, hindi pa nagtatapos dito yung evolution ng personal system. Dito sa mobile system, kasi ay mas pinaliit lang nila yung devices and ginawa nilang wireless. But, meron battery na kailangang i-charge through connecting to electricity para magamit siya ng isang user. So, the purpose niya is to manage the resources and memory when they're being used for multitasking and to easy to carry on, para mas madaling dalhin kung saan-saan kumpara naman sa mga devices sa naunang phases. So, the problem here is the instability or poor battery quality. So, kailangan mo talagang maghanap ng device na merong fast charger and a good quality, ng good battery quality or yung matagal na lobat. So, example niya is the modern smartphones. So, ito yung mga iOS o yung iPhone, Mac OS o yung Apple, Androids, Windows Phones, Bada, and Web OS. So, thank you. That's all. Hope you learned something from me. Again, I am Angelica Arcerano. I'm a student from 1IEA of Pamantay.